Last night I dreamed and a murderer was stalking and attacking my younger brother Dave and I. We never saw the guy. Neither one of us got a really good look at him. At no point did either one of us see his face or even an article of clothing that he was wearing. He would toss into our home like a flaming toy or flaming little plush animal, maybe a couple of road flares, and we would maybe see him just as a quick movement in our peripheral vision, and by the time that we turned to get a good look at him, he would be gone. But yeah, that's how he was attacking us. He was throwing things that had been lit on fire into our home through open windows, or he was waiting patiently on our property for the opportunity to toss a flare or a flaming toy into the home when either one of us would open our doors. It was a very unnerving dream. Not quite a nightmare, but approaching nightmare status. We knew this was a guy, by the way. We were certain of that, even though neither one of us saw him. I don't remember his name. Don't remember this arsonist and murderer's name, though. We found out about him from this old man that we talked to the day before. Now, getting to the old man, that was an interesting little adventure. The day before, it's a nice sunny afternoon, partly cloudy skies, and we're in the city. It looks like New York City, and in this dream, it was as if in this city, instead of just simply tearing down antiquated, abandoned, and ultimately condemned buildings and building new structures on the land that those previous buildings had been built on, they just kept building structures on top of previous ones. They just kept climbing skyward in this city, and the result was that you had several layers of just old buildings, beneath the street level, and for whatever reason, we knew we had to talk to this old man. This old man had contacted us and said, okay, I need to speak to you and Dave. You're in great danger, and I need to inform you of the impending circumstances. So, we're in this city. On the street level, it was either a factory or a business of some kind. We entered through the front door of the factory or business. We descended down a spiral staircase into what was a very old cathedral. The interior of this place was beautiful, just really wonderful, complex decorations on pillars. The pipe organ was still there. I mean, the place was covered in dust and cobwebs, but you could tell. I mean, at one time, this was a really beautiful cathedral. So we didn't rush through there. We kind of looked around, seeing if there were any valuable antiques left about. I didn't end up finding anything very interesting. It was nice just walking through this place. Anyways, we eventually descended down another spiral staircase into what was an abandoned subway station. The subway station hadn't been used since the early 19th century, I think the old man told us. Brick walls, dark, dingy. The old man had one corner illuminated by some like Victorian-era gas lamps, like the kinds of gas lamps that you'd see in like old Dracula movies starring Christopher Lee and Peter Cushing. And beneath one of these gas lamps, the old man had a folding table set up with a projector on it, and he had a projection screen fastened to a brick wall, and the screen was pulled down. he gave us a couple of folding chairs. We seated ourselves, and he proceeded to project this animated film which summed up the life of this arsonist and murderer. And the old man assured us he's coming for you guys. And the only part of the animated feature that I remember is the narrator claiming that this arsonist and murderer had been trained to sleep at night in big sleeping bags with fully grown horses. And the narrator said that this was a classic method of training young warriors in Native American tribes. And the idea behind it was to develop in the young warriors an ability to remain completely quiet, to be disarming, to not disturb, what should be a very large, powerful, formidable, and easily excitable animal. The whole thing was if you were never kicked or trampled once during this training process of sleeping in a sleeping bag with a fully grown horse, you passed the test. You were quite stealthy, and you remained calm in tense situations. So yeah, the little animated feature about this arsonist and murderer's life said that he'd been trained that way. So the old man, after that part in the little cartoon, it said, so you're not going to know when he's coming. Trust me, he's very quiet. He's quite stealthy. So anyways, the following day, no, it was the following night. This was in the evening. Open up the back door. I'm going to take out the trash. Sure enough, a flaming teddy bear comes in, and a couple of road flares, and I smothered the flaming teddy bear, and my brother grabbed the road flares. He threw one back out into the backyard, and he held on to the other one because he figured, well, let's go after this jerk. Let's get a good look at him here. He didn't have a flashlight in his hand, so he figured, okay, I'll just use the flare. I can see with this. We go out into the backyard, and it immediately becomes apparent that this guy's been living in our backyard. Because we saw a little sleeping bag laid out. He still preferred to sleep in sleeping bags. And we also saw that he had killed a dog, possibly a stray dog, maybe one of the neighbor's dogs, I don't know. But he'd killed a dog and cooked it over a campfire and eaten most of it. He must have been eating it for days, because the only thing that was remaining was like the barbecued hind quarters of the dog. So, we're more than creeped out by this. This guy obviously means business. We go back into the house, and I walk through the house, just checking every room, making sure that he didn't sneak in while we were looking for him in the backyard. He hadn't. And eventually I walked over to the front door, opened it just to survey the front lawn and see if I could get a look at this guy, if I could get the drop on him. And another flare comes flying in, and then it was a flaming like miniature Beanie Baby, like the kind that you used to get in McDonald's Happy Meals many years ago. Flies in, we smother the little flaming Beanie Baby. My brother grabs this flare, I grab a flashlight, and a gun this time, and we both run out into the front lawn, and this time I almost get a good look at him. He's like the truck driver in Duel. You almost see him, but you don't quite get a look at him. And I saw that he was hiding beneath my neighbor's van. He was crawling around in the driveway beneath my neighbor's van, but I didn't want to want to run toward him. I didn't know what other kinds of weapons he might be carrying on him. So my brother and I, we just started yelling insults at this jerk, just hurling every kind of invective we could possibly think of at this guy, and hoping that, one of these would really sting his pride and he'd just have to get up from beneath the van and show himself and, give me a clear shot at him. But as we're yelling at him and insulting him, a couple of teenagers were walking along the sidewalk and near my house, and they they heard me yelling, and they were yelling back at me, yeah, shut up, and all this. So then I start insulting them and telling them, get the hell away from my house, get away from this property, you don't know what kind of danger you're in. And at that moment my alarm clock went off, and that was that. So